Now, the next topic is why should we conserve biodiversity? There are many reasons for which we should conserve biodiversity. Some reasons are obvious and others are not so obvious, but these reasons they have been divided into three groups, that is narrow utilitarian, broadly utilitarian and the ethical utilitarian. The narrow utilitarian includes the countless direct economic benefits that we obtain from the biodiversity, like number one comes the food, the cereals, pulses, and fruits. All of these we obtain from the biodiversity, and 85% of world's food it comes from the three crops mainly, that is wheat, rice, and maize. And these three major carbohydrate crops they produce 2 by third of food for human population. In addition to the food, we get firewood, fiber, construction material, various industrial products like tannins, lubricants, dyes, resins, perfumes, etc. from the biodiversity, and the various medicines they are also obtained from these forests, and more than 25% of drugs they are derived from various plant species. Some of the examples of the pharmaceuticals which have plant origin they are, that is morphine, a drug is obtained from the plant Papaver somniferum and it is used as analgesic, that is the painkiller. Quinine, which is an anti-malarial drug used in treatment of malaria, is obtained from cinchona. Taxol, anti-cancer drug, is obtained from Taxus brevifolia. Respirine, which is used to control blood pressure, is obtained from Wolfia serpentia. And Visristine and vinblastine, these drugs which are used in treatment for leukemia, they are obtained from the plant Vinca rosea. And only 120 plant species are utilized to obtain 25% of the drugs in pharmacy. Now, the broadly utilitarian. Broadly utilitarian, it includes ecosystem services. They include, for example, healthy forest ecosystems, and they help in purification of air and water. They mitigate the droughts and floods they are controlled by ecosystem services. They also include nutrient cyclings जो हमने we have already done, that is carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, phosphorus, and the sulfur cycles, and they help in generating the fertile soils, and they provide habitat for wildlife, and they help in providing or maintaining biodiversity. Maintaining biodiversity. It also helps in pollination of crops. Pollination of crops. And they are also storage site of carbon. That is carbon dioxide which is produced is being utilized by the plants for photosynthesis. So the broadly utilitarian, it includes the ecosystem services. For detail of ecosystem services, you can go to the last topic of chapter ecosystem. So broadly Utilitarian ecosystem services, they include healthy forest, purification of air and water, control of droughts and floods, nutrient cycles, fertile soils, wildlife habitats, maintenance of biodiversity, carbon storage, and pollination of crops. Now, the researchers have shown that the price tag of these ecosystem services, which are provided to us by free, which are free to us, and they have been estimated to cost 33 trillion यूएस डॉलर्स. ये जो इकोसिस्टम सर्विसेज हमको मिलती हैं नेचर से, अगर हम इनकी एक प्राइस टैग इन पे लगाने की कोशिश करें तो दे कॉस्ट 33 ट्रिलियन यूएस डॉलर पर ईयर, जो कि हमको फ्री में मिल रही हैं. एंड दिस इज नियरली द ट्वाइस द वैल्यू ऑफ global gross national product, which cost up to the 18 trillion US dollars. So यहीं से हम अंदाज़ा लगा सकते हैं कि हमको कितना इसका नेचर का बायोडाइवर्सिटी कंजर्व करने का कितना फ़ायदा है. And the third major reason to conserve biodiversity is the aesthetic and cultural benefits which we obtain from biodiversity. For example, biodiversity has great aesthetic value like green forest, ecotourism, bird watching, wildlife, pet keeping, gardening, colorful fishes, and in majority of Indian villages and towns, the various plants they are planted with, they are considered sacred and they are worshipped for by the people. For example, tulsi, that is Ocimum sanctum, people, Ficus religiosa, and khejari, that is Prosopis, they are cultivated by the people for sacred purposes and they are worshipped also. In addition to these benefits, we must consider that every species has right to live and share available resources, and every species must get equal chances of survival. And man should honor their right, means man should honor the right and let the wildlife flourish. यानी इस अधिकार का कि हर स्पीशीज को जीने का और फ्लरिश करने का, फलने फूलने का पूरा अधिकार है. एंड मैन शुड ऑनर दिस राइट एंड लेट द वाइल्ड लाइफ फ्लरिश.